Hey there, fellow nerds and geeks. Aaron Nabus here, and I'm joined by my co-host, Alex Benedicto.
Hey.
And we are doing a WonderCon preview. WonderCon is this weekend. And WonderCon may be the smaller sibling of San Diego Comic-Con, but that in no way diminishes the experience. In fact, we might even call it a goldilock con. It's large enough to attract some major talent, yet small enough so people who usually like more intimate cons, like us, can still enjoy it. I think the attendance, I think maybe in 2016 was about maybe 60,000 people. And you kind of contrast that with San Diego Comic-Con, was upwards of 100, 180 thousand people. So you can see that WonderCon is still a small con, but still big enough to attract some major talent. I know there's a lot of con-goers who don't even go to SDCC anymore and just go to WonderCon instead. I mean, they don't even try to get badges. And I can't blame them. It's such a fun and it's a well-run con. I think even at last year's Talkback panel, it was the shortest ever. If memory serves me correct, it was like 7 or 8 minutes, and that was it. So, Alex, do you want to go into a little bit of the history of WonderCon?
WonderCon, for people who don't know, WonderCon actually started in Oakland, California in 1987. And the original name was the Wonderful World of Comics Convention. And it was started by a few people. And on third year, WonderCon became its official name for the convention. And in 2012, actually in 2002, they moved to San Francisco. And after 15 years, they moved to Anaheim while the Moscone Center in San Francisco is getting remodeled. And ever since it stayed here in Southern California. And Comic-Con International took over running the show after it got too big for the original founders. Let's see, in 2001 is when Comic-Con International took over running organization, and it's been doing a good job ever since. And they pretty much follow the same concept or aspects of San Diego Comic-Con with, TV, comics, of course, movies, TV animation, masquerade ball. So they have a real similar format at both events.
And I think they sort of use WonderCon to sort of test things out a little bit, like with the RFID technology. And I think
was it the RFID badges were first tested out at WonderCon, and looks like this year they're testing out a lottery system for exclusive signings.
Yeah, did you win?
So I think I signed up for 8 of them and I got 0. And then a lot of people, I mean, there's some good and bad about. You want to talk about that now? About the lottery system?
Sure.
Yeah. Go ahead. I guess there's some good, pros and cons. Like my niece was mentioning to me, I told her about the lottery system for WonderCon, and they might bring it to San Diego Comic-Con, and she says, it's kind of bad for the hardcore fans who's willing to stay in line and put in the sweat equity to possibly get a badge. But now with the lottery system, even more people they just have to sign up, and that's it. And more people, less chances of people getting badges. So I don't know. I think they should split it. They should do part lottery, allocate some for the lottery, and allocate some for people who are willing to wait in line. Maybe, I don't know, half or some way split it so that those hardcore fans that want to wait in line or willing to wait in line can have their shot at it too.
Mm-hmm. And I apologize for the noise in the background. We are at a Korean restaurant here in San Diego in the Convoy area. And the reason that we're here is because it's a cold, I would say, high 50s here in San Diego in the evening. If Alyssa or Leonard's listening to this, I'm sure they are rolling their eyes because I know it's colder where they are at. But we were craving some Korean food, and they have some pretty good goldilock, which is beef rib soup, and they also have one of the best kimchi that I've had, and their banchan is just pretty good. So we had some of that earlier, and then now we just are drinking some soju. So this might be a drunk cast. We'll see. So cheers, Ganbei. And back to the podcast. We are talking about WonderCon, and I guess we'll talk. We'll start off with some panels. Alex put together some blog posts that we will be making live soon, but the first part of our podcast, we're going to talk about some of the panels, and pretty much, what 3 panels for each day would you like to go see and why? And we try not to pick the same ones because we have similar tastes. So, Alex, why don't you take it away?
See, Friday. See, the 3 panels I picked were. The first one would be Jack Kirby's Centennial Artwork Extravaganza, hosted by the president of IDW, Greg Goldstein, and just has displays of pages and pages of Kirby's artwork. And in fact, they'll be giving away a special gift this year. I think they did last year also at San Diego Comic-Con for Kirby's centennial birthday. Next panel is called 1988 Geek's Greatest Year, Make a Fist with Your Toes edition. They cover some of the movies that came out, like Die Hard, Fish Called Wanda, Who Framed Roger Rabbit, Beetlejuice, Willow, and a few more. There's one that I wanted to go to but was canceled. It was Smithsonian Star Trek Learning Experience.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I was kind of bummed about that one. I was looking forward to seeing that one, what that was about. So, but that just got to notice that was canceled. So, and the other one I picked was, let's see, 25th anniversary of Jurassic Park. Life Finds a Way. So it has paleontologists, representatives from the Los Angeles Natural History Museum, and you just talk about the film and how it's, and some of the sequels that it spawned.
Man, 25 years?
Yeah.
I feel old. I mean, like last year we did 25 years of, X-Men, the animated series, and Batman, the animated series, and I'm like, wow.
How about you for Friday?
Why don't you just do all your...
You want to do all mine?
Yeah,
Okay.
all yours, and then I'll do mine.
All right, okay, Saturday, my top 3 would be, first one would be Hollywood and Emerging Tech, the Evolution of Entertainment. That's at 12:30, and explores new technology in 2018, and has some people from VR companies, from Oculus, Star Wars, people who worked on Star Wars, and some gaming representatives. So that should be interesting to see how.
I mean, it's just amazing that the technology in our smartphones is more advanced than the technology that they used to, the first, moon.
Oh yeah.
I
mean, even just phone technology, like right now, even maybe 15, 20 years ago, it's probably, I don't know how many times faster than those computers, mainframes today. So that should be interesting. I mean, I think that was I remember going to a panel, and one term that they used was transmedia, comic print to web to VR to AR. So looks like with advancement technology, there's a lot more ways that companies could give the fans a different arena to view their IP. Let's see. Next one would be Quick Draw with.
That's always a fun
Yeah,
one.
it's always a fun one. Always, it's usually moderated by Mike Evanier, and always the two mainstay artists are always there are Sergio Aragonis and Scott Shaw. And third one for this year is Tom Richmond. He worked on Mad magazines, so that's always a fun one to do.
Yeah, and I still remember when how you and Dean show up in the Netflix documentary for Floyd Norman. Because they were taking footage. We didn't know, but they were taking footage at San Diego Comic-Con. I think what year was that? Maybe 2015, 14?
15, I think. 14 or 15.
Yeah. And so both of you show up in the Netflix documentary for Floyd Norman. I think it's called Floyd Norman, My Animated Life or something like that.
Yeah.
And I would have been there too, but I was walking around taking pictures around the hall. So, if you check out that Netflix documentary, you'll see Alex and Dean in there.
Yeah, I always wonder. I haven't seen Floyd Norman in past year and a half at conventions. So I wonder if he's like fully retired or or
maybe.
what. So, gotta look into that. See, the last Saturday panel I picked was Henshin, the Tokusatsu panel.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how to pronounce that. Tokusatsu. I think that's how you pronounce it. Talks about Japanese TV genre, like Kamen Rider, Super Sentai, Ultraman, Kaiju, and explains the history and characteristics of this genre with Japanese superheroes. So that should be interesting. Never really heard about that, but some of the topics it covers, we're all familiar with.
Did you watch any of those shows growing up?
No, I haven't. Nuh-uh. Maybe Ultraman. I might have been under a different name. CCK. Okay, for Sunday, my three panels I like to go to is first one would be Cover Story, the art of the cover, and that one is also hosted by Mark Evanier, and it has people in the comic book industry like Ryan Benjamin, Mitch Garans, Dan Jurgens, and Ed Piskor, and they just talk about what makes a good comic book cover and how the best ones are created. So that should be a cool one to see. That's what usually attracts people is for comic books is the cover. For if you're looking for a new title. Second one is another Jack Kirby. Is an annual Jack Kirby tribute, and that one's another Mark Evanier moderated panel. So they have people that worked with. Well, Mark Evanier worked with Kirby, and also they'll have Scott Shaw, Tom Kraft, who's curator of the Kirby Museum, and a former Kirby assistant, Steve Sherman. So that should be interesting to hear some stories of one of the guys who created a lot of superheroes that are on the big screen, blockbuster big screen movies of today. And see, my last one is Pop Culture Exchange in Pacific Rim, and talked about how East meets West, and how like superheroes of the U.S. like Spider-Man, and how they incorporate that character to a Japanese style, animations. So that should be interesting one to check out too.
That's gonna be fun.
Yeah. I think that's it for me on panels.
Cool. I guess for me on Friday, I have the spotlight on Gail Simone. And basically, I'll just read a little bit of the description. Fan favorite writer Gail Simone, Batgirl, Deadpool, Wonder Woman, has an intimate and no-holds-barred discussion about her journey in comics from fan to award-winning author. Surprise guests and a lively Q&A will cover her career from Women and Refrigerators to her new image title, Crosswind. To be honest, I haven't really followed her that closely, but I follow her on social media, so I've always wanted to learn more about her, because I think we're all about representation manners on this podcast, and we definitely need more women voices out there in the comic book and pop culture world. So I definitely want to know more about her and the work that she does. So I'm looking forward to that one. The next one, we are huge supporters of independent creators as well, and some of them are on this next panel. It's the Fandom to Career, Make Your Wildest Dreams Come True, and it's moderated by our good friend Tony Kim, Crazy for Comic-Con. He was actually our first podcast guest way back in what was that, October of
2016.
Yeah, 2016. So that was cool of him to be our first guest on the podcast, and he's moderating this panel. And he's gonna have a few people on here. Britta London, she's the writer, CW's Riverdale. Andre Meadows, he's pretty prolific on YouTube. I think I met him last year. I forgot which con it was, but he had just. It may have been Stanley's LA Comic Con, because he was. I remember one year he moderated the Pinky and the Brain panel at the on the main stage. So he was a pretty good host. Chris Gore is going to be on this panel. He's a comedian and writer, cosplayer, Leanna Vamp, and the next person, Jason Inman. He's no stranger to our podcast. Him and his wife, Ashley V. Robinson, were guests on our podcast when they were promoting their comic book, Jupiter Jet, which is what he'll be talking about on this panel. And make sure you support his comic book, because I think issue number 4 is going to be coming out soon. And I can't wait to check all the issues out when the trade comes out, because their comic book is pretty cool. And it's, well written, it's well drawn. I think they even have a new cover done by is it John Boy Myers? Yeah, I think.
That's a nice cover.
Yeah, I think it's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool cover. So I'm looking forward to this panel, and we're always down to support independent creators, because we aspire to be independent creators ourselves. The next panel on Friday, the third one that I will try to make, is the hip hop and comics. Hip hop and comics cultures combining. I went to this one. I think it was last year, and it was pretty cool. I want to check it out again just to see if anything has changed, because I don't know about you, Alex, but I've been listening to a lot of hip hop lately. Specifically, like Wu-Tang Clan. So yeah.
Actually, me too, because I've been trying out Google's music.
Okay.
And they have pretty good channels with like 90s. I like the old school stuff. Like they have like old school hip hop, 90s hip hop, and they got specific title like gangster rap, booty bass, and all that. So they have some pretty good channels. I like it a little bit better than iHeartRadio's selection of old school
nice
hip hop.
Yeah, man, I can listen to Wu-Tang and Tribe Called Quest for hours, which I do at work. I'm a graphic designer, so it kind of puts me in the right state of mind to design throughout the day. And so that's it for my Friday panels. On Saturday, I will be going to the Publishing Your First Comic Book panel. It's going to be moderated by screenwriter Rylan Grant, and his first comic book is going to be coming out soon. It's called Aberrant. We interviewed him at Stanley's LA Comic Con last year, which we'll be putting out probably the first part of April, since his comic book is going to be coming out between April and June, I believe. So we're even going to be meeting up with him on Saturday to hopefully do some video promos to help promote the book. So I'm looking forward to meeting Ryland again, and also to be attending this panel. Now let me just read this description. Screenwriter Ryland Grant, whose first comic title, Aberrant, will be released by Action Lab Entertainment in June, hosts a panel of creators, many with backgrounds in film and television who will share how they developed their first comic book ideas and ultimately found publishing success. Learn how to find a penciler, inker, colorist, letterer, and designer. Submit material to publishers and figure out how to position your project in today's marketplace. And I think another former guest of our podcast, David Papose, is going to be on this panel. He's the writer and creator of Spencer and Locke. And yeah, I mean, that's another book it's one of my favorites. Just the tagline alone. What if Calvin and Hobbes grew up in Sin City? And if that doesn't grab your attention and if that doesn't make you want to read this comic book, then I don't know what will. It's an awesome book. And I'm looking forward to volume number 2. So if you get a chance and you're going to, WonderCon this Saturday, hopefully I'll see you at this panel. The next one on Saturday that I will be checking out is the cinematic storytelling. It's another one of our guests, former guests, Stefan Frank. He was in the animation department for Iron Giant, so he brings a lot of his animation know-how and tricks of the trade to his comic book creating, and it's really eye-opening. If you look at his comic book Silver, you can tell that it's different. It's a different presentation. His talent for telling stories on the big screen does translate into the comic book. So let me just read the description really quick. Award-nominated animator, director, comic book creator Stefan Frank from the Iron Giant and Silver discusses how to apply the visual principles of film language to the comic page for clarity, emotional and cinematic impact, and making the storytelling accessible to the broadest possible audience. And I think he does a really good job of that, and I think you'll gain a lot if you go to this panel. And I'm looking forward to checking out this panel again because, I'm sort of an inspiring writer too, and there's always, every little bit helps, and I'm looking forward to seeing what he presents at this panel. I'm also a huge Cowboy Bebop fan. This next panel, third panel that I'm going to try to make on Saturday, is celebrating 20 years of Cowboy Bebop. The description goes like this. From professionals involved with the creation of Cowboy Bebop to voice actors and fans, everyone has an interesting tale to share on how this pivotal anime has touched their lives. Hosted by voice actor and director Ezra Wise, ADR director, Miraculous, Tales of Ladybug, Cat Noir, and Vampire Knight. Panelists include Les Claypool, sound supervisor, Cowboy Bebop, the movie, Ghost in the Shell. Mary Claypool, scriptwriter for Cowboy Bebop, Cowboy Funk, and Ghost in the Shell. Sabrina Weiss, Miraculous, Tales of Ladybug, and Cat Noir. And Alec Orak, chair for Anime Los Angeles. Allison Meyer, chair for Anime Kanji. And also Victor Frost and Steve Roberts. I'm looking forward to this panel just because Cowboy Bebop alongside Samurai Champloo are just two of my favorite animes, and I just can't believe it's been 20 years.
I know. Yeah.
On Sunday, one of the big buzzwords that's been floating around lately is cryptocurrency. So this first panel right here is Going Crypto, how digital coin technology is changing how we live our lives, basically. So I find cryptocurrency interesting just because the technology behind it, the blockchain technology, has a lot of applications. So basically, let me just read the description. It goes, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Ripple, Dash, Litecoin, cryptocurrency, or digital currency, or blockchain, or whatever you want to call it, is one of the most talked about topics in the ether right now. Beyond the speculation of altcoins, tokens, and ICOs, at the heart of it all is an innovative tracking technology that is now also affecting gaming, entertainment, and everyday life. Companies like GameFlip, for example, are using blockchain tech to optimize the way gamers can trade their in-game bounty. Tech companies such as Kodak have entered the market, creating currency and Bitcoin mining opportunities. So come find out what is coming down the pike in the world of crypto. So, yeah, this panel looks interesting, and I'm looking forward to seeing what they have to say. The second panel, it's another Stefan Frank panel. Like I said earlier, he was involved in the Iron Giant, and his panel, The Iron Giant, the making of animation masterpiece. What else can I say? It's the Iron Giant, and it has Stefan Frank. I'm a huge fan of both, and so I'm looking forward to that panel. And then the last panel that I'm going to try to make on Sunday is the, let me see here. It's the Comic Arts and Conference Session number 8, Race, Horror, and Comics. And it's moderated by John Jennings. Excuse me, it's kind of loud in here. And let me just go to I lost my place on the app. Here it is. It's the genre of horror can be a useful tool to unravel some of the complex systems surrounding representations of race and how to unpack how those systems cause serious complications in the lives of real people. We can see the simmering tensions between white liberal ideologies and the lived fears of black people in Jordan Peele's film Get Out. Traumas of sexual abuse, suicide, and family upheaval in Where Children Play, and fears around the erasure of white identity and interracial sexual tensions in Clive Barker's Candyman. Join WonderCon special guest John Jennings from Kindred and the University of California at Riverside for a conversation that takes inspirations from such cinematic narratives and pushes them into the surreal world of the graphic novel, focusing on how comics and graphic novels have created ample spaces to critique systems of racism. Frances Gateward, she's from California State University at Northridge, moderates. And the reason I'm looking forward to this is because we met John Jennings at the recent Black Comics Day here in San Diego. He was on a panel with David Walker, and it was moderated by Hannibal Taboo. And they kind of touched on a lot of things concerning how the importance of black artists in pop culture and comic books. And so this is just another opportunity for me to learn more about it. And John Jennings, he's a really prolific writer and creator, and I'm looking forward to what he has to say. I guess we can go to exhibitors now. Alex, you want to go through the list that you put together?
Okay, let's see. First one, the Creative Extreme. I think I met them last year at WonderCon, and never heard of them before, so I stopped by, see what they're about. And they had a Project 365 where they introduced one new character in their universe each day of the year. So in 2016, they had 365 different characters, one for each day of the year. So that was pretty interesting. So you have artists from throughout the world, and look forward to hear what they have new coming up and how they're gonna involve all these characters into their universe and what kind of stories are coming out. So that'd be cool. Creative Extreme booth 1029. So next one is Dark Planet. That's publishing for Silver for Stephen Frank. So he has a couple. One Rosalind.
Yeah, Rosalind.
Rosalind is a new one he just came out with.
Sort of the prequel to Silver.
Mm-hmm. So booth 813. Next one, if you're looking for some cool T-shirts and hats, check out Graphic Lab Tees at booth 2109. They have some pretty cool designs. Go see Ron. They're based here in San Diego. So booth 2109 for hats and t-shirts. Next one is our friend, known for a while, is Emerald Moon. And what they do is they're mostly known for their realistic Ewok masks. And I remember last year in their first show, they sold out like the first day, and because that was their first show, and you didn't know what to expect. So if you want to check out some other Star Wars merchandise, they also have some of that. But their Ewok masks are pretty amazing.
Yeah, and
Emerald Moon.
Yeah, and he even does full body Ewok suits as well. To special order, of course.
Special order. Yep. Pretty cool. Next one is Hero Within, from Tony Kim and his crew. He just got licensed by Marvel, so pretty soon you should be expecting some Marvel-inspired clothing.
Congratulations, Tony.
Yep, congrats. Next one is the booth is 2009. 2009, Hero Within. Next one is Jungle Boy Productions, booth 1155. They do licensed Game of Thrones merchandise. This year it looks like they're diving into some chibi pins from Game of Thrones, so that's new for them this year. So go check them out, booth 1155. Next one is one of our favorite little cons to go to is the San Diego Comic Fest. They're at the fan club section, FC18, which is at the end of the 1400 aisle past the dealer section. They can have some representatives tell you get to ask them like what kind of guests they're having, some of the events they're going to throw. So go stop by FC18 and talk to people at San Diego Comic Fest.
Oh yeah, and if you're in San Diego and you plan on going to San Diego Comic Fest, I think they're still looking for volunteers to help out. So hit up us, or we'll put you in touch with Matt Dunford, the chairman, who we'll be having on the podcast soon to talk about San Diego Comic Fest.
Keep an eye out for that. So next one is Stranger Comics. Go stop by and say hi to Sebastian and Daryl and the rest of the Stranger Comics crew. They have some good books like Niobe, Vampire Hunter G, Earthune. So if you like that fantasy type genre, pretty cool. Yeah, pretty cool books to read.
They're really passionate about what they're trying to do.
Yeah. And Niobe is like the first black created, black character, black writer ever produced in a comic. So stop by and check them out. Next one is Tino Evil, booth 1950 and 423. They have two booths this year. So go see Francis and Franco. And they have some cool Walking Dead themed t-shirts. Pretty cool.
Yeah, I love their shirts. I think I have 2 or 3 myself.
Mm-hmm.
One of them is like they sort of combined One Punch Man, Mike Tyson's Punch Out, and Attack on Titan. So it's pretty cool.
They have some pins too. If you're into pins, t-shirts and pins, go see Tino Evil. You want to talk about the small press?
Yeah. The first one that I sort of added on to Alex's list in small press is Evolution Publishing. That's Marcel Dupree's little company. Marcel Dupree was one of the creators that was at Black Comics Day, a convention here in San Diego that was organized by our good friend Keithan Jones from Kid Comics. So I'm looking forward to learning more about Marcel's comic books. So go check it out. His booth. It's going to be at SP54. We follow these guys online, Fan-Based Press. They're doing a lot to promote the independent creators. So follow fan-based press and go check them out. They are at SP97. And the last one I sort of want to highlight is Wannabe Press. This is Russell Nolte's little publishing company. We follow each other online, and I finally had a chance to meet him at Palm Springs Comic-Con last year. So we talked a little bit, and I'm looking forward to learning more about him, and I'll probably check out, maybe purchase a couple of his books, because he's a prolific writer, and he does a lot to help educate and promote independent creators. So especially he's really knowledgeable about how doing Kickstarter campaigns and Patreon. So looking forward to picking his brain about that stuff. So I guess, Alex, let's go to Artist Alley.
Artist Alley. Looks like we got a bunch of artists we have on our list this year. There's a lot of them are we follow on social media, and there's a few new ones that we want to check out. But I guess we'll go start down the list. Nika Braco, she's in Artist Alley Beat 32. One of our favorite ones, Patrick Ballesteros, Artist Alley A07. He has a few new WonderCon exclusives he's debuting this weekend. So it's like they're some of them Black Panther themed. Gotta check those out.
Hey, you're stealing my thunder.
Let's see. Next one is Danae Frazier Studios. She's based in Arizona, I believe. And she's introduced to us by our friend Jasmine from Hero XYZ.
What's up, Jazz?
Superhero XYZ. She has a lot of Disney artwork. Also, she does some classic car artwork, too. So if you like classic cars and Disney, go check her out. B30, Artist Alley. Another one. See, the next artist is Eddie Nunez. He's real. I like his cool cartoony style drawing illustrations. He's at C23. Another popular one is Sean Cheeks Galloway, Artist Alley C06. See, there's also Jamie Sullivan, C13. He's all around. He does movies, cartoons, comics, a lot of different styles of illustration. One of our latest podcast participants is Jin Kim. He's in A09. He has a cool Voltron print coming out during WonderCon. See, Jescope from Bay Area. I think he's from Oakland. That's some cool. I don't know how to describe his style of art.
It is hard to describe.
Yeah, it's hard to describe. You just have to see it for yourself. You got to go check it out just to see. He's in Artist Alley D43, Jescope Press.
It's pretty dope though.
Yeah. And while you Godzilla fans, kaiju fans out there, go see Lenny Lenzations, Artist D42. Real self-taught illustrator, and it's awesome.
Yeah,
awesome.
The thing about Lenny is that it's all graphite. It's all pencil.
Yeah, it's all pencil. Self-taught too.
Yeah, and it's intricate.
It's amazing.
I have a few of his. I have one of his Godzillas, and I was like, man, it's amazing.
Mm-hmm. And next one is the ever popular Lord Mesa. If you like any of the CW TV shows, Flash, Arrow, Supernatural, this is a guy to check out. He has a bunch of pretty cool prints. He's in A33 Artist Alley.
And like, if you're a fan of his, make sure you come to WonderCon, because he's not going to be at San Diego Comic-Con.
Oh yeah, he's going to branch out to other conventions other than San Diego. So if you're in Southern California, go check out Lord Mesa. One of our favorite ones to see at cons is very animated Todd Knock, popular Marvel illustrator. Great guy to talk to also.
And he cosplays too.
Oh yeah, so if you like Doctor Who, big Doctor Who fan, go see him. Let's see. Next one is Pet Project in E49 Artist Alley, table E49. Pet Project. That's Dino. Um, if you're into sports, if you like the Lakers, um, especially if you're a big Lakers fan, he has a bunch of cool prints and shirts that you might like. A lot of Kobe stuff.
Yeah, it's really cool. He's a good illustrator, and
Yeah.
I got to shout out to him too because, like me, he's from the south part of San Diego, so he's a South Sider. So
Yeah. And next, another San Diego guy is Scott Lost, part of the Accidental Aliens. He's in CO5. Go check out his book, Second Shift, and Malasat.
oh, it's the Wanderers of Melisande. That's his
Yeah.
short story in the anthology, the Accidental Aliens anthology, which the Kickstarter is still open until April 1st. So even though they were able to get their Kickstarter fully funded, they do have some other goals, especially helping them with additional resources to go to conventions such as San Diego Comic-Con, to help them promote their anthology. So every little bit helps. And go check out Accidental Aliens. They're really cool people, and I enjoyed having them on the podcast.
Yep. So check out their Kickstarter. They're almost at their stretch goal of 5,000. So help them get there. Next one is Chrissy Zulo. She's in Artist Alley C21.
I love her work.
Style.
Yeah, she's awesome.
Yeah, cool style. You like, especially she does a lot of female characters, Star Wars, DC, Disney. So if you want to get some cool prints, Chrissy Zulo's someone to check out. Another, I guess you call him like a fine art painter, artist, Lee Koshi. He's in not an Artist Alley. He has his own booth, 1602. Has a cool. I saw a bunch of Star Wars. He has a lot of Star Wars licensed products and paintings.
Yeah, and go check out his Twitch channel too.
Yeah, he's on Twitch also.
Lee Cozy.
Next one is Mike Miller, another guy from San Diego. Actually, Lee's San Diego too. Mike Miller. There's a lot, he worked on Injustice for DC, but he has a bunch of cool prints. If you like Overwatch, out of comic book characters, you got a bunch of prints to choose from. Check out Mike Miller, booth 2274.
Before you go on, Ganbae, which is cheers in Korean.
See, next one, Ben Russell is next artist. He's in dealer section. DL17 is his booth number. I think this is his 50th con. Milestone.
What?
Yeah. So 50th? He's attended 50 different conventions throughout his tabling career. So congrats to him.
All right.
Got some cool. He's into horror. Rock, Raiders. If you like the Raiders, go talk to Ben.
Yeah, he'll be at Monster Palooza also.
Monster Palooza in a few weeks. Has some cool prints. Check him out. See DL17. The next one is Eric Ninotowski. Good friends with Mike Miller.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of similar styles. If you like Overwatch also, he has a bunch of Marvel prints. I liked his latest Hulk. And his Wolverine T-shirt is pretty cool.
Yeah.
So if you like the traditional Marvel style, like 90s, probably is the biggest influence. 90s style Marvel.
He's definitely a late 90s.
Yeah, go check out. It's a lot of cool prints, a lot of good deals, a lot of Overwatch characters.
And I think he was our podcast guest number 3, I believe.
I think he's our third guest on our show.
The thing about that podcast is that we met at a park in Coronado because he was there, hanging out with his family. And so we just ended up, hey, we'll just do the podcast here. So that was nice of him. He's a really nice guy, and he's always down to talk to his fans, and, he'll make time for you. So that's one thing that I really appreciate about Eric. And he was one of the original artists that were part of our artist assemble, our
Oh,
artist
yeah.
meet and greet at San Diego Comic Con. What year was that? That was
16.
yeah, 2016. Wow, it seems so long ago. But yeah, we invited a bunch of artists to do a little meet and greet at a local restaurant during Comic Con. So that was pretty cool.
All right. He's not going to be kind of had a back out of WonderCon this year, but we'll give a shout out, even though he had to cancel. Ethan Castillo, 12 year, or is he 13 now? I mean, he might be 13 right now. But, teenager artist, loves Spider-Man. Ethan Castillo.
Yeah,
Too bad he can't be
he's
here
growing,
this year.
man.
Yeah.
Like he was also another artist that showed up at our artist assemble at San Diego Comic Con, and I think back then he was 11. So I don't know. Next time I see him, he might be taller than me.
I know. Hopefully, we'll catch you at the next convention. Let's see. Next is Art of Jeff Brooks, also known as real name Jeff Martinez, DC illustrator. He's in Artist Alley A52. Cool prints. Got some T-shirts too.
That's right. And he was on our podcast as well.
Yep.
We went up to Burbank to interview him.
Yeah.
And this little side note, if you listen to that podcast, then we sort of touch on how he. I used to own a store here in San Diego. We sold Japanese video games and anime products, and he would come in every once in a while to play games at the store. So that's how we had met initially back in the mid-90s.
Mid-90s. Wow. 20 years.
Yeah.
Let's see. Next one is Howard Shum. Pretty cool illustrator. He's in Artist Alley B19. I think he did some head sketches too. Pretty quick, pretty simple. It's pretty. I like its style.
He worked on a few projects with Bobby Rubio, right?
Yeah. But yeah, real talented guy. Go see him at Artist Alley B19. Another one of our favorites is Pasquale Productions. Go see Jeff at booth 1504. He's a watercolor artist.
Mm-hmm.
Real cool stuff. Real cool.
I'll also I'll say congratulations to Jeff and Jaina. They're just recently engaged, so congratulations to them.
Oh yeah.
And Jaina's his better half.
See, next artist is Carlos Dianda, Artist Alley A10. Another long-time illustrator in the comic industry. Cool prints also, a lot of prints to sell. Someone who we just saw last month, Larry Houston. He worked on the X-Men animated series in the 90s. He has some prints for sale. Real cool guy. Another legend in comic animation industry.
He even worked on the Care Bears.
Oh yeah, Care Bears too. Let's see. Next one is if you like Deadpool, go see Scott Koblish, A55 Artist Alley. He's working. It's been on Deadpool for a while now, so really big Deadpool fan. Go see Scott. Next one is Jay Lee, Artist Alley A31. He did some work for Stranger Comics on Vampire Hunter G.
Yeah, and I think speaking of Stranger Comics, I think Jay Lee has his own creator own project through Stranger Comics that he's going to be putting out soon, I think.
Cool. All right, next artist is Michael Matsumoto at Artist Alley E23. Got I guess I call his illustration almost like movie poster style.
Yeah.
Yeah, but kind of elegant to me. Real nice prints.
Yeah, those are Back to the Future.
Yeah, Back to the Future. That was probably
Yeah.
my favorite one.
That was a pretty good one.
Yeah. Next one. Do you see? Is he Marvel now? I think he was working for Marvel now. Is John Boy Myers?
Is he?
I think so.
Oh wow.
I don't know, but he was working. Did some DC stuff. And he, like we mentioned earlier, he did something for Jason Inman and Jupiter Jet, John Boy Myers, Artist Alley 812. He has a lot of original art for sale.
Yeah, I like his stuff, man.
Oh
It's
yeah.
pretty sick.
And next one is Show Moraes.
Morase, I don't know.
Morase.
I think that's how you say it.
Japanese, I think. It's she's at C25. It's pretty much black and white. Maybe another color involved too, but maybe a two-color print.
It's really
simple
it's
silhouette
really,
style.
Yeah,
almost.
it's really simple,
Yeah.
but they're really striking.
Yeah.
I kind of liken it to sort of like graphic design terms of like gestalt or just really impactful and I just like the simplicity of it.
Yeah, it's real. She and some of actually, I think some of her one or two prints got turned into what you call it, statues from DC.
Oh wow,
Yeah, license. Yeah,
that's awesome.
this is pretty cool. Next one is Eisner Award winner Justin Nguyen, creator artist for Descender. He's in Artist Alley 830. Real good, big watercolor artist. Next one is Livio Umandelli, C224. Like Transformers, Star Wars.
Yeah,
pretty cool stuff.
speaking of Transformers, he just posted recently a pretty sick Dinobot.
Dinobot.
Yeah. I think it was Grimlock.
Oh yeah. It's spitting fire.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
And our last one on our list is Marv Wolfman. He's in Artist Alley C12.
Yeah, he's an awesome writer. Teen Titans. And he has a few panels at WonderCon as well.
Yeah, so they got a huge Artist Alley section again this year. So make sure you just drop by and go support the independent creators and people who started, who's in the industry that we see on the big screen nowadays.
Mm-hmm. And you know what time it is?
Is that?
You know what time it is? You know what time it is? It's time for another round of drinks. We're gonna welcome the Thunder round with another round of soju. Cheers. Gumbe. Thunder round. All right. I will start off with this question. What kind of music will you be listening to on the drive up to Anaheim from San Diego? Alex?
Usually when I drive, lately I've just been listening to talk radio. I've been listening to a lot of music, but I might, go to do the Google Music, listen to some old school hip hop on the way up.
Yeah? I guess for me, sort of on the hip hop tip, I mentioned Tribe Called Quest and Wu-Tang Clan earlier, but I also mentioned how I'm a fan of Cowboy. I'm a fan of Cowboy Bebop, but also Samurai Champloo. And a few years ago, one of the sort of DJs that was involved with Cowboy Bebop, Nujabes, he passed away in a car accident in Japan. I love the stuff that he did for Samurai Champloo. So I've been listening a lot lately to a Samurai Champloo playlist on Spotify. So there's some pretty cool stuff in there. A lot of combination of jazz and blues and hip hop, and so it really puts me in a creative headspace. So I listen to that a lot at work as well. So I'll probably listen to that again on my way up. Which artist would you want to get a commission from, and what would you ask that artist to draw?
I think I mentioned before is Danae Frazier. Like I mentioned that she did some classic car illustrations. I'll probably get one for my brother-in-law. He's in the Mustangs. Maybe get an old, I don't know, maybe a 65 or 68 Mustang to get drawn for him. Big Ford fan. Ford
Nice.
Mustang.
Nice. I guess for me, I don't know. I might do something wacky and weird, and maybe uh, I'm a huge. I love Godzilla, so I might get a Godzilla from Lenny from Lensations,
Oh yeah.
and so I'd have that, and then I'd ask Livio Ramondelli to do some Transformers on the side.
Hmm.
And then I would ask Jin Young Kim to do like Optimus somewhere. And then I would ask maybe Patrick to do like in his style, uh, like a bunch of Street Fighter 2 characters. So it's like a big, sort of a smorgasbord of like some of my favorite characters from pop culture and the cartoons that I grew up with. Our friend Sean Richter, what's up, Sean? Is part of the Science Fiction Coalition. They will have a fan table at WonderCon. I guess my question is, if you created a fan table, what would it be?
Um, Probably be a small group people, but maybe a one I haven't seen before is maybe a old school Star Blazers fan club.
Ooh, nice.
Never seen one of those before, so something new, something different. Even though it'd be probably a small group,
Yeah,
limited edition. They should bring that back.
that's a good idea, man. I think for me, like, as some of you know, I'm the brand ambassador for the International Mobile Film Festival, which is coming up in April. So I think I would maybe do something along those lines. I'd probably start a fan club of people, making movies with their smartphones. So I know I had talked with the founder, Susie Botello, and she's, trying to push, that this new movement out there and sort of connect with cosplayers. For those of you who are interested or have heard of the International Mobile Film Festival, Tracy, hot nerd girl herself, and a few of her steampunk Star Wars universe fellow cosplayers will be showing up at our event in April. So, yeah, I mean, just having a huge, group of people making movies with their smartphones for, if you're a cosplayer or if you're an artist, even just documenting your everyday life. I think that's going to be such a huge thing coming up, because I think the technology in your phone is up to the point where video is good enough that you take to be on the big screen. So I mean, you have directors like Steven Soderbergh, who's going to be doing movies on smartphones now. So I think that's what I would do. I'd make a fan table or fan group around making movies with your smartphone. I guess the last question of the fun round is, if you only had one day to spend at WonderCon 2018, what would you do?
For me, I'll probably do at least one panel, and then probably just spend probably more than half the time in Artist Alley. A little bit of walking the rest of the exhibit floor, but mostly walking down the Artist Alley, talking to different artists.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. I mean, that's part of our what we're all about. And I'm gonna take a page out of Tony Kim's book. I remember he recommended, like, if you only had like one day to go to a con, he would, like, the first one right off the bat is go to Artist Alley and get a commission done by an artist. So I think maybe this Comic Con I may get a commission done, hopefully. And then, yeah, like you, I'd spend most of it in Artist Alley anyway, and I'd pick at least one or two panels that I thought I could get into. Obviously, there's going to be some popular panels out there that you might have to wait in line for, but I think a con such as WonderCon will have enough panels out there of that have a lot of great content, and I think they should have something for you at the con. So I think, yeah, I'm with you, man. pick a couple of panels, and then spend maybe half the day in Artist Alley getting to know some of the artists, because uh, yeah, those artists have a lot of stories to tell, and they I think they need our help to help keep them, you know, uh, help keep the spotlight on them. Speaking of artists, I guess we can go to Art Watch. Um, I guess since we are talking about WonderCon, we'll probably pick artists that are going to be at WonderCon. Why don't you go, Alex?
Yeah. I guess when I picked was Lenny Lensation. Like we mentioned it before, is a self-taught artist. Mostly uses graphite pencil, and moved up to the Bay Area. He's originally from Southern California, so I don't see him as often. So shout out to Lenny Lensation. Go check him out. He's in a booth. Where's he at? D42 Artist Alley. Go pick up some Godzilla prints.
Yeah, he has some cool ones. Like he has a Godzilla one, and he also has one of the ones. I guess one of the guys uh, that wore the bodysuit.
Mm-hmm.
That was pretty cool. He recently passed away, but he drew him, so it's pretty cool. I guess for me, our previous guest, Jin Young Kim, like Alex mentioned earlier, he has a new Voltron print, which I'm definitely going to pick up. So hopefully he doesn't run out by the time I get there, because I won't be there Friday, but I will be there on Saturday. So there's that pretty sick Voltron print that I want to pick up from Jin, and also Patrick, as Alex mentioned earlier, he has a whole like a series of Black Panther prints that look pretty cool, and there's also some other 25-cent Wonder prints I might pick up from Patrick. Yeah, Patrick's just one badass artist, man. I love his stuff. It's just, I don't know, he just hit that sweet spot right there, with his 25-cent wonders. I guess we can go to sort of like a new part of our podcast, the superhero shoutouts. Is there anybody out there that you want to throw a superhero shout out to, Alex?
I think we gave him a shout out before, but our friend Dean Rita, always helping us out. Earlier, it's offering his place to stay at LA area conventions, or hanging out with us at traveling to Bay Area or Las Vegas. He's always there. Shout out to Dean.
I'll cheers to that, man. Come Bay.
Come Bay.
I guess for me, I'll throw a shout out to I guess a few people. First one is going to be Susie Botello. I mentioned her earlier. What she's doing with the International Mobile Film Festival, and just with her this movement that she's a part of, just making movies on smartphones. She's been doing it for the last 7 or 8 years, and this coming International Mobile Film Festival may be the biggest one yet. We have a few people that are going to be coming. A special guest on Saturday is going to be Tim Russ from Star Trek Voyager fame. He was part of a recent movie that was made on a smartphone. So he's going to be talking about that experience. And there's a gentleman from Australia. He's part of this movement that he started called Film Breaker. He's going to be having a short little panel or sort of a workshop on Saturday. So that's going to be an exciting little event, because I think with this whole Hollywood getting into making movies with their smartphones now, it's just gonna just sort of like validates what Susie's been doing for the past 7 or 8 years. So yeah, shout out to Susie, because she's so passionate about this. It's just infectious. It's like it makes me want to create something. It may not be a movie, or it may not be it might be something, but like it just makes me want to just do something awesome, because she just has that sort of positive personality. So each time we meet, it's like It's like a shot of adrenaline almost. It's like, yeah, you can do it. So shout out to Susie because she's so positive that it's just amazing to not have her, not only have her as a friend, but also I'm honored that she asked me to be a brand ambassador for the international mobile film festival. And the other shout out I want to give to is Keith Jones, because he's just such a one awesome guy, and what he's doing with kid comics, and with his recent Black Comics Day, and he's always down to each time we see each other, he's always down to give us his time to talk about his book, or do short little interviews. So thanks to Keithan for just being supportive of what Hall H is trying to do, because he's also there, not only doing his thing, but he's also putting out sort of like a testimonial for HallH.com and the Hall H show, and what we're trying to do for the independent creators. So thanks to Keithan. Let's see here. We're going to start wrapping up the show because I think the soju is trying to get a hold of me. Did we miss anything? I think we did, Alex. I think we were supposed to talk about food trucks.
Oh, food trucks. Yeah, it looks like the fine folks at the SDCC blog just put out the food truck guide to WonderCon. So we'll put up their link to their list of food trucks that's going to be there this year. Thank you for them for putting that together. Let's see what else. Food trucks. I think maybe Saturday I might stop by and check out one of the food trucks.
Now, did any of them sort of stand out to you?
I think I saw one, maybe the Greek one. So get some euros. Or there's one, the Viking truck. Look like some of their concoctions look pretty interesting.
To be honest with you, I might have to just. It's gonna be a game time decision. I'm just gonna have to walk by and see what they have there. see which truck sort of had like the longest line, and then maybe that's what I might go for. Cause I don't know. Since we're at a Korean restaurant, it's kind of hard for me to look at these trucks and think about what I'm gonna have over the weekend because we just had some awesome food here. But the list of trucks that they have is impressive. They have some Latin with a Barcelona on the go. They have a Burger Monster, Chunk and Chip, the Coconut Truck, which is an Asian street food, Cool Crafted, Italian ice and other desserts, Philosophy. That's pretty cool. I might just go there just for the name. Philosophy, falafel and hummus bar, Kala, artful Mexican cuisine, Meetup barbecue, smoked comfort food, mess hall canteen, that's gourmet tater tots, salad and grilled cheese, My Delight cupcakery cupcakes, Nostimo Greek, Spud Runners, that's fries, baked potatoes and grilled cheese, TJ's Woodfire Pizza, Viking, as Alex mentioned. I guess they have something in the second location. It's going to be at the Arena Plaza. The other ones that I mentioned earlier are going to be at the Grand Plaza. They have Broken Rice. It's Vietnamese food. I'm always down for good Vietnamese food. Sana's Curry Bowl. It's authentic Indian and Pakistani cuisine. Tasting Spoon. It's gourmet sandwiches. Which is kind of weird. I mean, I don't eat a sandwich with a spoon. Anyway, the Shed. It's from Sol Agave. That's organic Mexican food. So I think they have a pretty good variety of food trucks there. I'm just impressed with how many food trucks they have. Let's see here. What other things we missed? Our good friends Rob and Min Jamar. They're cosplayers. We interviewed them late last year. We'll be posting that podcast probably in April. But they will be cosplaying as Robotech's Rick Hunter and Minmay. So I'm looking forward to seeing them, debut that cosplay at WonderCon. If any of you have seen our social media posts in the past, Robert has done this interesting play on Glenn from The Walking Dead. Sort of like he has the baseball cap, and he already has the bat attached to it.
Lucille.
Yeah, Lucille, and then all he does is wear the eye that's sort of bulging out and popping out, and so it's a good since the bat is already affixed to the hat, it's sort of like a good prop for other Negans out there who are cosplaying, or for anybody to come up and just hold the bat. So it's pretty crazy, and then Min, she's done a pretty cool Wasp cosplay that they made from scratch, basically. Like, she learned how to sew and everything. So I'm looking forward to how their Rick Hunter and Minmay turns out. We also have a podcast planned with Terry Mayo, the writer and creator of the comic book Wicked Righteous, and hopefully we can get a few of his other fellow alternate comic book or alternate comics creators. They will be having a panel. Unfortunately, I won't be able to make it on Friday. Basically, it's the alternate panel and how they're trying to, sort of promote the usage of newsprint, because their comic books are a little bit cheaper. Well, they're a lot cheaper than other comic books. Their comic books per issue is $1.50 versus I don't know how much it is for other comic books. So they use newsprint to sort of use that. That's probably why it's a cheaper price point. But basically, the gist of it is that, hey, if you have an interesting story, you have awesome content, then there is no reason for you to not get your story out there, because Alterna has an alternative way to get your story out there with cheap newsprint. So unfortunately, I won't be able to make that panel. But hopefully, Alex, you can make that panel, because I'm actually going to be moderating this panel at FantasiaCon in Indio in May. So I want to see what they actually talk about, so I know what to talk about. So and shout out to Terry for asking me to be a moderator for this panel, because it's going to be my first panel that I'm ever going to be moderating. It's going to be at Indio at FantasiaCon. So Alex, why don't you give our information out there on social media, because I think I'm wasted.
Social media, on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Check us out on hallh.com, hallh.dotcom. And
also, you can follow me additionally. It's Aaron Nabus, AARON, I'm on social media on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. And also Comic-Con Fit. Make sure if you're out there trying to get fit for all these Comic-Cons that we go to, join the Comic-Con Fit fam. We'd love to have you. As I posted earlier today or yesterday, when I started my Comic-Con Fit journey back before 2012, 2013, and I weighed almost 230 pounds, and I'm about 190 right now. It's taken a while, but I've gotten that weight down, and I feel so much better. And I couldn't have done it without the support of the Comic-Con Fit fam. So a huge shout out and thank you to you guys. So I guess we can close out the show. Alex, why don't you take it away?
All right. Thank you for listening to the Hall H Show podcast. Our mission is to put the Hall H spotlight on some of our favorite pop culture and comic book artists, writers, and other creators. You can find this podcast on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, TuneIn, Spotify, and our website, hallh.com. So if you believe in our mission to be the voice of independent creators, we would appreciate a rating and a comment on iTunes. And please spread the word on social media using the hashtag HallHShow. Once again, hashtag HallHShow. Peace, cheers, artists assemble. Please make it a point to visit Artist Alley and other independent publishers and creators in the exhibit hall at the conventions you plan on going to this year, especially this weekend at WonderCon 2018. And if you see us around, make sure you stop by and say hi. Check you out later.
We'd love to meet you. Peace, cheers. Cheers. Hey, Gumbe. Interesting enough, this whole bottle of soju, this is like the last one. My last shot. So, Gumbe, those of you coming from out of town to WonderCon, have a safe trip. And like Alex said, if you see us, please say hi. We would love to meet you. Cheers.